Regto was the first angel. In Amo's childhood flashback, she remembers two mysterious angels visiting her. Fans believe the first angel, the one who gave her the boots, was Regto, Rudo's foster father. The way he spoke to her, gently calling her young lady and telling her to treasure the boots, directly mirrors how he once told Rudo to cherish his gloves. During season 1, we're never told how Regto came into possession of the gloves. It's simply accepted that they were passed on. But the fact that Rudo can actually unlock their full power suggests Regto may not be who he claims to be. Some fans believe he lived on the ground, but like Zodal, he had his eyes set on the sphere and the full Watchman series. He may have spent years trying to use the gloves himself, but couldn't draw out their true power. That failure might have pushed him to search for candidates who could. Which brings us to Amo and Rudo, both of whom were given Watchman relics, and both of whom successfully activated them. That's not coincidence, it's a pattern. This matches up perfectly with what Zodal told Rudo in episode 19, about how the Watchman items can drive people insane, and how they only respond to certain types of givers. Regto could have known all of this, and still chose to pass the gloves to Rudo, not out of love, but out of necessity. If true, this means Regto's entire role in Rudo's life was more calculated than we ever realized. He might have been the first to discover the truth about the Watchman series, and after being rejected by it, he dedicated himself to finding the people that could. And finally, the most obvious clue that almost confirms this theory. In episode 1, when Rudo walks in on Regto's death, the mysterious perpetrator is seen wearing a near identical mask and cloak as the ones the angels were wearing. By the way, if you guys genuinely like this anime content, I would really appreciate it if you could leave a like and subscribe. Rudo will turn into a monster. This theory suggests that the curse inside Rudo isn't just emotional, it might be physical too. A darkness has been growing within him, and the signs are all there. His power doesn't behave like a normal giver's. It's erratic, violent, and tied directly to his rage. Even Semiyu called it a curse, not a gift. Fans believe that if Rudo's hatred keeps festering, it could transform him into something inhuman, not just metaphorically, but literally. Some theorists think he might become a trash beast, a monster born from discarded emotions and corruption, the very thing he spent the story fighting against. Others take it further, suggesting he might mutate into a Watchman-style entity, and an avatar of the relics he carries, and the pain that fuels him. Every time Rudo loses control, we get a glimpse of what he could become. Amo was brainwashed by the Watchman boots. Amo might not have turned evil on her own. She may have been a victim from the very beginning. Fans believe the boots gifted to her weren't a blessing, but a curse designed to corrupt her. Before she ever put them on, Amo was just a normal girl with no powers, no combat experience, just a kid trying to survive. Then the angel approached her and gave her those boots, and everything changed. She didn't just gain a dangerous ability, her entire personality shifted. She turned cold and violent, and eventually attacked Rudo and the cleaners without hesitation. This theory suggests the boots manipulated her mind, or worse, amplified the worst parts of her emotions. Maybe they latched onto her pain, her confusion, and her fear, and turned them into weapons. The Watchman's true identity. We keep hearing about the Watchman gear, but who or what is the Watchman? Some fans believe it refers to a real person or being. One idea is that the Watchman is Rudo's distant ancestor, a legendary figure who once guarded the border between the sphere and the ground. If the Watchman is this ancestor, it means Rudo is continuing a legacy. Some think the Watchman might even be a guardian spirit sealed inside the gear, and that every time Rudo uses the gloves, he taps into that entity's power. The theory suggests the Watchman isn't just a title, it's a character in its own right, maybe a final boss, maybe a guide. If true, Rudo might one day confront the Watchman face to face, or merge with it, which would tie the series title directly into his personal journey. The Watchman series grants powers to anyone. The legendary Watchman relics are items that can turn regular people into givers. We've seen this with Amo. She was a normal girl with no powers until she got the Watchman boots. After that, she suddenly had a terrifying ability. That can't be a coincidence. The theory says the Watchman relics carry an unlimited supply of anima, and they can give power to whoever wears them. That means these items might not just amplify existing abilities, they might create them. Anyone who wears a Watchman relic could suddenly unlock powers they never had. That makes the gear incredibly dangerous. In the wrong hands, they could tip the balance of power completely. It also explains why these items seem so heavily guarded, and why only a few characters have ever touched them. The idea that the Watchman series can transform regular people into givers changes everything. It suggests Rudo's connection to these relics might go beyond using them. He might be the key to unlocking their full potential, not just for himself, but for everyone around him. Vital instruments are sentient. What if the vital instruments in Gachiakuta aren't aren't just tools? What if they're alive? Fans have noticed strange behavior from the Watchman gear. The gloves didn't fully activate until Rudo was pushed to the edge. The boots corrupted Amo the moment she put them on. The theory says these items have a will of their own, that they choose who gets to use them, and maybe even influence their users. That would mean the vital instruments aren't just powered by anima. They are anima, condensed souls, maybe from past givers. This would explain why some gear drives people insane while others can handle it. It's not just compatibility, it's trust. The relic is deciding who's worthy. This idea also ties back to Zodal's warning about madness. If the instruments are sentient, they might test their hosts, push them to extremes, or even abandon them. Rudo's bond with the gloves isn't just about strength, it's a relationship. And if other relics begin to awaken, they might not all agree with each other. This makes every fight personal. Every relic is dangerous, and every moment with them is a conversation between willpower and weapon. Other ancient vital instrument series exist. The Watchman relics might not be the only legendary set in Gachiakuta. Fans believe there could be other vital instrument series, just as powerful, with their own unique themes. The world of Gachiakuta feels too big for just one set of sacred gear. We've already heard names like Spellcaster used in the story. What if those aren't just titles or roles, but clues? Each one could point to a different ancient series of relics, with different abilities. One tied to illusions, one tied to death. Maybe each was created for a specific purpose, by different people across history. If the Watchman series exists to protect or judge, maybe the others exist to deceive or destroy. This theory would open the door to rival factions, each hunting their own legendary tools, not just for power, but to control the future of the ground and the sky. And if those relics start to surface, it could lead to massive clashes between characters, each wielding a different ancient legacy. The gloves Rudo uses might only be the beginning. Rio was a trained assassin. Rio might be hiding something much darker. Her name alone, Rio Reaper, sounds more like a code name than a real one. And then there's the gun. When she uses it, there's no fear, no hesitation, just precision, like she's done it before. The theory says Rio was raised in the sphere as part of a family or organization that specialized in killing. She was taught how to take out targets cleanly, efficiently, without emotion. But something changed. Maybe she was given a mission she couldn't complete. Maybe she was ordered to kill someone she cared about. And when she refused, the consequences were brutal. Imagine a backstory where her best friend or lover paid the price, and Rio was thrown away, not for failure, but for feeling. That guilt would explain the quiet sadness behind her smile, her goofy attitude, her loyalty to Rudo and the others. It's not just personality, it's penance, a way to rebuild after everything she lost. Enjin is a banished spherite. Enjin's origin remains one of the biggest mysteries. A popular theory is that Enjin actually comes from the sphere, just like Rudo. He's unusually fascinated by the world above. Enjin rarely spends nights at HQ. He's often out alone, seemingly working on something secret. Fans think he might be searching for a way back to the sphere, or investigating something about it. Maybe Enjin was born in some influential family, but was cast out or fell long ago. That could explain his unique name, which sounds more like a nickname, and why he doesn't share much about his past. If Enjin is a banished spherite, it means he has insight into both worlds, and possibly a personal vendetta against the high-ups in the sphere. This theory positions Enjin as an even more pivotal character, whose backstory could shake up everything we think we know about the sphere's relationship with the ground. Corvus is not who we think he is. Arca Corvus, the leader of the Cleaners, might have a double life. When the Cleaners got a tip about where Amo was being held, that intel came from an unknown source. Fans think it's because Corvus was secretly feeding them information. Corvus is already a mysterious figure. He has vast knowledge and always seems a step ahead. It would also explain how he stays so well informed about everything happening on the ground, and why he's known to frequently be absent from HQ. It paints Corvus as a master manipulator working behind the scenes. Maybe for the greater good, maybe for his own agenda. When Rudo first arrives at Cleaner HQ, every member seems to regard Corvus with such high respect and praise. With that level of trust, he could easily hide his real identity from all of the members at Cleaner's HQ. If this theory is true, it means Corvus has been playing a long game, using his own group without their knowledge to steer events exactly where he wants them. It makes him far more than just a leader. It makes him the ultimate tactician, hiding in plain sight, waiting for the perfect moment to reveal who he really is and what his real intentions are. Heaven and Hell allegory in Gachiakuta. Gachiakuta's world might be built around a hidden allegory, heaven and hell. The sphere above is clean, pristine, and full of angels, while the ground below is covered in than trash monsters and suffering. The contrast feels deliberate. Even Rudo's last name, Shereber, is Cerberus spelled backwards. Cerberus is the mythic guardian of the underworld. That one detail alone flips everything. It suggests Rudo wasn't just tossed away, he was chosen. Rudo was thrown from the sky like a fallen angel, but instead of turning evil, he began to rise through the trash, making friends, building strength, and uncovering secrets. The angels that travel between realms, the cursed power of the Watchman gear, and even the cleaners themselves all fit into this pattern. Some fans believe the story is building to a clash between these two worlds, a battle between illusion and reality, between a fake paradise and the real, a brutal truth of the ground. And at the center of it all is Rudo. Rudo's scarred hands were intentional. Rudo's bandaged arms aren't just a mystery. Some believe it wasn't an accident at all. It was done on purpose. One theory is that his own family scarred his hands as punishment for digging through trash, a cruel lesson that went too far. But an even crazier idea is that Rudo's father did it deliberately so Rudo could use the Watchman gloves. Only people with deep physical and emotional wounds can truly unleash the gloves' power. So those bleeding scars might have been a twisted way to prepare Rudo for the power he'd later inherit. It suggests Rudo's parents weren't just murderers. They might have had a plan for him all along. If you enjoyed this, I'm going to be posting a lot here. I would greatly appreciate it if you could subscribe. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.